Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Miss KK and this is A Wave. It is your weekly show that looks at topics related to personal, family and business finance. And our hope is that by the time we get to the end of these conversations, really you are better equipped to make sound financial decisions. So if you're new here, thank you very much. And if you're already a returning subscriber, an awesome appreciation for always stopping by. All right, today I'm back with yet another video and we are talking about toxic traits in friendship circles when it comes to money. Yes, it is the love month and I thought it was befitting for us to discuss relationships. I have already discussed family finances in 3 videos where I spoke about why it's important, what to discuss and how to discuss family finances, as well as, supports you can give your friends that are job hunting. So now I'm going to get into this interesting topic. I also sought your input on Instagram where I posted the questions and I got some response, and I'll be sharing my personal observation within my friendship circle, within other people's friendship circle, as well as to what you're contributing. I have 8 points here that I've actually collated from the response I've got from Instagram. Most of them were repetitive, which actually means that it's common problems that everyone is facing. So we are going to get into that. The aim of this video though is not to pick on anyone. It is just to make you realize that maybe there are certain things that you are doing that could be losing your friends, or there are certain things that you're observing your friends are doing that makes you feel some type of a way and you don't know how to address it, and you sometimes feel maybe it's just you and you may have issues. So we are just highlighting this so that you can realize that if you are doing it, please stop, because other people consider it toxic before you lose your friends. Or if you are experiencing them, maybe perhaps evaluate whether you have the courage to face the friends that are actually exhibiting these traits, and if not, perhaps exiting the circles. So you remember that at this age, we can't be in friendships that are stressing us. We can't be in friendships that are emotionally and financially draining. If it doesn't add value to your life, you need to walk away from it. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. And the first thing on the list that has been contributed by so many people is friends that are borrowing money and never returning it. Guys, if you are going to borrow money, have the decency, the respect to return the money. If you expect someone to give you money and not return it, please make it clear in your request that I want 200 from you, but I don't have an intention on returning it. Because sometimes we downplay money, like it's just 200 that I ask here, why is she going on about it? The same way you were in need of that 200 to top up your electricity or to top up your petrol tank to get to work is the same way I, the giver of the money, may need it. Or I may have taken it from my savings and I have a goal that my savings need to be at most 3,000 a month, and because I've given you that I'm 2,800 and I'm breaching my own commitment to myself, therefore I want my 200 back to go put it where it came from. So respect must be observed. So if you are the one not giving people's money, evaluate and return people's money. And if you are the one always giving to people that don't return your money, please be strict with your lending requirement. Actually, I saw a friend that said she's not going to lend people money anymore. She has 9 people that actually owe her. Sometimes they even call her at midnight and she will e-wallet them as there and then, but when it's time for them to pay back, they don't come to the party. So this is something that is observed by many people and we need to be aware of it. If you are suffering, you need to own up to these friends and tell them you want your money back. And if you are the one not paying back, please take action and pay people's money back. All right. Number 2 is being entitled to receive help from friends. Guys, we have too many relationships for you to be dependent on one person. Your friends are there to help you, grow you, inspire you, and motivate you, but they can't be your sole provider. You have parents, you have siblings, you have cousins, you have extended family members, so you can't be entitled to receive help from friends all the time. Just because someone helped you once doesn't mean that they'll always have the means to help you, and it also doesn't mean that they should be helping you all the time. So don't abuse people that are givers. Don't abuse people that have good hearts to help. So make sure that you are not manipulating them into giving you all the time or helping you all the time. That entitlement feeling really wears people down. Sometimes people just will stop hanging out with you because you're always having problems, and for some odd reason you don't find it necessary to ask other people other than your friends. So this is really something I thought I should highlight out. Number 3 that was contributed was inviting people to parties with excessive requirements and still expecting a gift. This is quite touchy, especially the bridal showers, baby showers, and milestone birthday like 30th, 40th, whatever. We sometimes plan these parties at our income level and we assume because we are in the same friendship circle, we earn the same amount of money. But we could be earning the same amount of money, but we don't have the same responsibility. You maybe come from a family where people treat their family as nuclear family, there's no black tax, and you don't have any child, so you don't have that much responsibility. So your money is yours to spend. But other people may come from a family where there is too many people to help, there's excessive black tax, they have kids, they have responsibilities, and therefore, in as much as we earn the same amount of money, we don't have the same disposable income at the end of the day. In addition, we may not even be in the same friendship, in the same income bracket. Therefore, it is very important when you are planning these events to take that into consideration. If you really do insist that your event is at the level that you expect it to be, and you are not willing to downgrade, please have it in your heart to accept it when people say no, because it just means it's out of their reach. So really, this is all I wanted to bring up from this point. And sometimes you may have the money to make it to the event and buy the dress and pay for your own drinks, but you don't have anything left to buy a gift. And the person is still going to catch that despite the fact that you went out of your way to get all of this, they still expect you to buy a gift. So guys, we really need to start being realistic. Number 4 that was contributed was not reciprocating giving. You always the one receiving and never giving anything. Your friends have gotten married, you haven't given anything, but they have given you when you got married. They have bought houses, you didn't give them a housewarming party gifts, but you expect them to give you a housewarming party. Your friends have bought cars, you didn't give a petrol tank for them, and now you want them to fill up your car. Guys, we really need to learn to reciprocate. And if receiving gifts is not your love language and your friends are the ones that are insisting on those gifts, perhaps communicate and say, guys, I know you guys love giving gifts, but I'm not the type of person that like giving gifts or that like receiving gifts. So next time I have a special occasion, perhaps you can just leave me out. That way people expect that you understand that they don't expect you to give them gift, and in return they also don't expect from you because it's not your love language. So don't just keep quiet and be happy to receive, and when it's other people's turn, you don't give anything at all. So that was the 4th contribution that came in. Number 5 is expecting money for weddings, and not just any amount, a particular amount. Guys, weddings are expensive, especially if you are a bridesmaid and you are going to be there for the wedding. To just pay for the bridesmaid's contribution, to pay for your traveling to and from that wedding, to pay for your accommodation, because sometimes the bride doesn't provide accommodation. For example, when I got married, most of my friends were non-Vambos, and not most of them, actually most of my colleagues that are friends also were non-Vambos, so they aren't familiar with sleeping arrangements in the north, so most of them stayed in guest houses. So people drove from Windhoek and Walvis Bay, they paid accommodation. If they're bridesmaids, they paid bridesmaids contribution. Now on top of that, you still expect them to give you money. Like, we really need to be realistic with these things. People can help you to your wedding in many other ways. Money isn't the only way they can give you, and sometimes when they give you an amount and you don't think it's what you were expecting, you don't even show any sign of gratitude. Like, honestly speaking, we really need to do better. I could have decided not to come to your wedding at all. I could have decided to come and not give you anything, but the fact that I've given you and you still don't appreciate, I don't know what I must do with you. And number 4, not respecting when others says no due to affordability. This almost ties in with the point that was brought in about inviting people to excessive parties with excessive requirements and still expecting you to receive a gift. So most of the time, this no to affordability is, someone just wakes up, they want to go to Sausage Play, they are planning a girls trip, next month after payday they are leaving. You are bringing it to other people on short notice, and maybe people have already finished their budgets, and when they say I really can't make it, it's always you that can't make the girls trip, it's always you that can't make this. Like, learn to respect when people say no due to affordability. I'm not saying no because I don't want to go to Sosa's place. As a matter of fact, it's been my dream to go to Sosa's place, but because of the timing there of that request, I unfortunately can't make it. So don't make your friends feel some type of a way because they can't make these events. Just because you thought it was ideal for you to plan. Maybe you are actually even planning it because that is your month where you have the least expenses, where you are not taking, whereas you're not taking into consideration someone is saying no because they have the most expenses in that month. So we just need to look at it both ways so that we don't sort of isolate our friends and we don't push away our friends from such friendship circles. And number 7 that was contributed was people outing and not contributing. So this came from someone, but I'm gonna also add my personal contribution to this. So if you are going to invite someone, right, please make it clear whether everyone's going to pay for their own drinks or you are going to cover for people you are inviting out. Because sometimes I'm really at home, I've already exhausted my entertainment budget. That's why I felt like Friday I must just chill at home. Then you call me and say, Christina, don't you want us to go for pizza? Then I'm like, that sounds like a good idea. Now I get there and I'm expected to pay, and I really didn't have the money. So because you invited me, I thought you were maybe going to pay and you don't pay. Or you guys all decide we are going to have a pizza girls night in about a month's time, and that is something that was communicated. So it is an expectation, almost like inherent in the invite, because it was sent ahead of time. It's not anybody's particular event, and therefore everyone is expected to contribute, and you somewhat decide you're not contributing, so everyone else ends up covering for you. So that is something that is noticed by many people, that it's really an issue. If it's a group thing, you must contribute because you were told ahead of time. If I'm calling you out on a short notice and I don't tell you that I'm paying, perhaps, and if you don't have the money, clarify whether you're going to cover for the pizza, because if you don't have the money, perhaps you shouldn't even accept the invite in the first place. The last thing that I thought was very funny is equally sharing of bills, right? I'm not against equally sharing of bills, but it needs to be communicated, because sometimes you go to these fancy restaurants, you don't say that you are going to be splitting the bills equally. Then you, because you are looking at what's on your wallet, order a very conservative meal. People go out and pop champagne and they eat the most fanciest of food. Now comes the time to pay, you want people to split equally the bill. That is really unfair, because if all I had was a pizza and a passion fruit and lemonade, and you had seafood platter plus a champagne plus a wine bottle, like, honestly speaking, that is unfair to expect the other person to fork up the money if it wasn't communicated up front. So I just thought that is something that needs to be addressed, communicated up front. And if people decide they are not comfortable to split the bill, then don't judge them, because if they didn't spend 400 and you want them to fork up an additional 200 when they only ate for 150, it is really not called for. And last that came from the contribution list is swipe and I will pay later, guys. If we are going out, please bring your card. If you can't bring your card, I'm sure you have your phone and you have an app and you can send me the money and I can swap. Most of the time it is swipe, I will pay later, and you would beg that person for your money as if you had loaned them the money. So if we are going out, or if we are at a particular place and you don't have your card or your phone or whatever, and you tell me to swap and you pay later, it should be your responsibility to make sure that you pay me. I can't be the one reminding you, oh, you didn't pay for that swiping that I did where. And don't be the friend whose credit card is an issue all the time, bank card is an issue all the time. And if you don't have the money, please rather just say, kindly cover for me, I don't have the money. Then instead of you saying, swipe, I'll pay later, and me expecting that money back in a couple of days, because it can get really disappointing. So this is the things that came from Instagram, the poll that I ran, and I found it quite fruitful, the engagement with people that actually contributed. I didn't repost any of this because I wanted to do a video on it. And I really appreciate all your input for the people that actually contributed, and looking forward to engaging further in other topics. So at the end here, I really want to encourage people to generally have healthy relationship with people, with their friends. And it should include speaking about aspects, different aspects of our lives. We can't just all be speaking about boyfriends and, you know, trips, but we don't speak about business, and we don't speak about personal finance, we don't speak about investments. Because if we are excluding a specific aspect of you know, life in our conversation, we are not going to have balanced relationship, and we could potentially be losing out from growth. And if you have a friend that is better in one aspect and you guys share your experiences, you guys can leverage off that experience, leverage of that, and hopefully as a group all become better at collectively managing your money. This is all I had from today's video. Thank you so much, and remember to please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. And until next time, it is goodbye.